and welcome again to Florida Foodie. I'm your host, Candace Campos, along with our producer extraordinaire, Thomas Mates.
Hello.
And we've got a real Renaissance woman with us today. Now listen to this. She runs a vegan restaurant and a creamery. That's not enough. She also teaches cooking classes, and she's starting to make vegan meal prep boxes. I am all ears, and you should be too. We are very happy to have Chef Jenn Ross here with us.
Hey,
hello.
darling.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. And you have a little bit of an accent.
No.
Where are you from? Tell me what has inspired your food.
So, take a guess. Where do you think my accent's from?
Well, I know that one already because I looked you up. Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah, I'm from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I came to America when I was 16. Did not know how to cook. Can you imagine that?
You did not?
I did not. Yeah, I came here without my family for college and realized that in order to continue enjoying certain luxuries like eating and living inside, I needed to stop eating out. So that's actually how I started cooking.
It's amazing how much money you can save just by cooking a couple options at home.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
All right. So then you created a baby. So tell us about your restaurant, your creamery, your cafe, I should say.
Yeah. So absolutely. So Dejan Eats is a beautiful vegan restaurant in the historic town of Eatonville. Are you familiar?
Love Eatonville.
You have to come visit, Thomas.
I do. I know.
He told me earlier he hasn't been.
Still new to the area, but
yeah, he's still new. You were telling me I remember there was a big barbecue truck that would come out over on the weekends.
Yeah.
You said that has now turned into a big market on Saturdays. So it's really starting to boom there when it comes to food.
The first Sunday of each month, the Eatonville Cultural and Health Foundation actually hosts a craft and culture market, and we are a part of that because we do food demos there, open to the public, so anybody can come. It's usually the first Sundays from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. And then you have the creamery as well. That's all in. Is this the same place, or are these in different locations?
Yeah, so this is the same place because I'm really not a this or that girl. I'm a this and that.
Oh, there you go.
So everything is under one house. So we focus on vegan food with a Jamaican flair. So there's quite a bit of Jamaican food and flavor going on there. And a part of that too is our line of deliciously dairy-free ice cream called Airy Cream. And we have the traditional Jamaican flavors like rum raisin the roof, grape nuts, and we have red velvet cheesecake ice cream. You have to try that.
Oh my God, that sounds so good, especially in the summer heat of Florida. And what does Airy stand for? What Airy Cream?
Yeah, so Airy is a Jamaican expression of happiness and contentment. It's kind of like no matter what's going on, everything's just fine.
yeah, that's something I saw that pops up a lot on your website. Just like that, it's sort of like an attitude that you project.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really thankful for the designers of that website because I really think that they captured the spirit, the essence of what Dejan Eats really is. Because you go on it and it pops and the colors are there and you feel kind of happy, which is the goal.
Yeah. I mean, and when you think Jamaican, you don't think vegan, you don't. I'm thinking like heavy meats and beef patties. So like, what would you say when someone walks in there? What's the most surprising dish that you offer?
We have an oxtail dish on Sundays that we call hoaxtail. People are like,
hoaxtail?
How do you do vegan oxtail, right? So I will say, though, that the concept of vegan and Jamaican is not as foreign as you think.
Okay.
The terminology is a little bit different. So in Jamaica, we have a very high concentration of Rastafarians. And part of what they practice is called Ital living. Ital is vital, is their thing. And Ital living focuses on like healthy ground produce, and they tend not to eat a lot of meat with Ital living. So if you bump into a Jamaican and you tell them, hey, I'm going to go eat vegan Jamaican food, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But if you tell them, I'm going to go get some Ital food, they know exactly what you're talking about. And it's kind of the same thing. It's just the ideology behind it is different. Yeah.
And why vegan?
Vegan, huh?
Mind you can't see this, but she has a huge smile on her face when she says this.
So for me, vegan is a compassionate way of living, right? It's a way to live to cause the least amount of harm to human and non-human animals in the way that we eat, in the clothing that we wear, in the entertainment that we seek. And so it's just about looking around and acknowledging other living beings and seeing how best can I honor their lives, or at least respect their lives. And I think for me, veganism answers that. Yeah.
And how did you come to veganism? Because you yourself...
Do you have time, Thomas?
Yes, we do.
So I actually had I bought a house out in Crystal River. I don't know if you've ever been.
Beautiful area.
Beautiful. Not known for its veganness nor its Jamaicanness, however. And it was a house in the middle of like a few acres, and it was lots of bushes. And I fancied myself a homesteader. So I had a goat. I bought day-old chicks because I was going to raise them for eggs and for meat. Like, that was the purpose. But I free-ranged them and played with them and named them.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then when
they still live with you now.
Well, no, I now live in Orlando. I had to rehome them, but it got to where I was processing the chicken, which is the euphemistic way of saying I'm about to kill the chicken. And I had Bertha hanging from her legs upside down. And it just occurred to me, like, this chicken does not want to die, and I can't do this. And I kind of had like a come to Jesus moment, thinking if I were to go to the store and get neatly packaged chicken, right, that's already processed, that is me paying someone to do something that I couldn't bring myself to do.
That makes sense.
A fair share of hypocrisy in that for me. And so chicken left the table, and then goat left the table, and cow left the table, and so many other things came to the table, and that's how we got to vegan food.
That's interesting. So what would you say for somebody who, let's say I'm not vegan, and what would make me walk through the door? Because when you think vegan, you think tasteless. You think, well, you don't have any meat, you don't have any dairy. I mean, again, that's not... I don't believe that, but I'm saying for people who are listening who might just think vegan is not an option for them, even if they want to dabble in a little bit of vegan for lunch.
Yeah, so I'll walk you through it, right? This is something, because I do cooking classes, and this is something I share every single time I do a class. And I go, Thomas, have you ever tried something new and it almost inevitably tastes like chicken? Like, that tastes like chicken?
Yes.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Because we don't actually know what chicken and beef tastes like. What we associate with these meats are usually the herbs and spices that go on the chicken. So if you take the same herbs and spices and you put it on something else, it's gonna taste like chicken. And guess what? These herbs and spices are almost always vegan.
Oh, surprise.
Right?
Hello.
So in terms of flavor, you're already halfway there. So now we work on mimicking textures, and textures can be mimicked in 500 million different ways. You can go the whole foods route, where you're using mostly plant foods in their whole form. So you'd be using like your earthy mushrooms, which can do amazing things.
Oh yeah.
I had mushroom calamari the other day. Yes, it was so good.
You don't often think of vegan food mimicking like seafood, but I guess I can do just as much as with other protein.
Nori is your friend. Are you familiar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of it. I mean,
nori's flattened seaweed, right? So you go and have your sushi roll, and you get that really distinct ocean flavor.
Right.
A lot of people think that's the fish. It's not. It's actually the nori. So if you take nori and you toast it and you crumble it, you put it on something else, you're gonna have that really distinct fishy flavor. So like at the cafe, we have tuna, we have crab cakes, we have crab salad, and a lot of that is because of the nori. You can't tell the difference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, not only do you have this cafe and the creamery, you said that you also do a lot of cooking classes. You do cooking classes for kids too.
I do.
So why kids?
Okay. So I don't have kids, right? So this is kind of my escape into the world of parenting, but I can return them after 2 hours.
That's much cheaper.
As an uncle, I can say that is the way to go.
But I do kids and adult cooking classes. I love how open children are to things and trying new things, because they don't already have this perception that vegan food is tasteless.
Right.
First of all, they don't even know what vegan food is.
Exactly.
They just know, oh my gosh, we're doing spaghetti and sauce. And one of the most popular things that I do with the kids is spaghetti and like a a meat sauce, but instead of the meat, I use tofu, and they make it with tofu, and they love it because you can't tell. It's almost it has the same texture as the beef in the bolognese. And what I found with kids is if you have them in the kitchen working with you, there's a good chance whatever they help to prepare, because they're so invested in it, that they're gonna eat it.
It is very true. I have a 2-year-old, and now she's finally standing up on this little pedestal that we have, and she just, even if it's just tossing the onions into the pan, to her, she made dinner.
There you go.
And she's the first one to spot the onions now in her, and whatever we made.
Right.
And eat them. Before, she was like, what is this? But now when we talk about it, and you kind of introduce them into this art of putting things together and making something even better.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really get those kids also learning how to cook and eat and to sustain themselves as well.
It's amazing.
Are you ever met with like any like child resistance, like, oh no, I don't like that vegetable, and have you had opportunity to like turn them around even?
Yes. So I used to do meals for this school. I think it's now closed. It's called the Herblich School. And it was the most challenging and rewarding experiences of my cooking career. And it's a private school, and they prided themselves on being allergen friendly.
Okay.
So they took vegan food and took it way past that. And there are kids that don't eat onions, and you can't add wheat. So it was gluten-free, and there's no wheat, and there's no corn, and there's no onions, no nuts, of course, no meat, no egg, no dairy, no any of that. I'm like, okay, so what are these kids going to eat?
Dirt and shadows.
Freshly sauteed air.
With a side of ice.
Yeah. But you figured it out.
We figured it out, and I learned so much from that experience. I learned how to substitute things. Instead of onions, I started using rutabaga. And I never thought, why would I use rutabaga when I have access to onions? But because it challenged me in such a way, it really broadened my cooking experience. And I think it's, if you were to ask me this question 50 years from now, that will be the experience I would draw for.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. I am all about meal prep boxes. You know, I get home at a certain time, and I feel like you're just trying to beat the clock to get the kids into bed. You want your hour of adult television without the kids, and having somebody think about what's to eat and tells you, hey, this is how you make it, and I can guarantee you can make it in 30 minutes or less. That is amazing. So now you're talking about meal prep boxes, vegan.
So yes and
boxes.
no. We're talking about vegan prepared meals. So the meals that we have, they're already
even better.
easier, right?
Yes. I am all ears.
Yeah, so the tagline is, so the brand is called exclusively Airy, and the tagline is personal chef meals in your freezer.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So it comes shipped to you already frozen in what we call the Airy green box. Beautiful lime green box. It's BPA free, FDA approved, microwavable, recyclable, made from renewable material.
Yes.
And dishwasher safe. And what is even better than recyclable is it's reusable. So you can use it for 500 million times. Yeah, so the meals come frozen. You go on the website, you order it, and they're shipped out to you. And they're good for 3 months, frozen.
That's fantastic.
You pop it in the microwave and you have dinner. Deliciously vegan dinner.
Now, where have you had like reach to so far, as like, like is it just primarily around like the Eatonville area, or have you gone out and outside of the state even?
It was not even meant to be in Florida when it started. So a few years ago, before I opened the restaurant, before I did this crazy thing of opening, the first restaurant was in a gas station. Did you know that?
No.
I did not know that,
insane.
That is so insane.
Which gas station?
We had a vegan restaurant at the Citgo gas station on Lee Road in Rosemont.
Yes.
And it was fantastic. It was a crazy idea, and it worked.
I've seen a couple. I know a couple down. I think it's Orange or Orlando. I can't remember what street it is, but there's a Cuban restaurant that is the shell of an old gas station.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, it works. As long as people can sit down, eat some good food,
it does.
Win-win.
I remember when we signed the lease, I went on Facebook because I'm so thankful that we have really like faithful followers, right? So I went on Facebook and I did this live and I said, hey guys, I did this crazy thing, because till I die, I will say it's a crazy thing. I did this crazy thing and I opened up the restaurant, and it's in the gas station, and we don't have tables and chairs yet, but come this Saturday, we're going to have chicken and waffles and you should come. And people brought lawn chairs.
I love it.
There's like a line from
it.
the front to the door, and I'm thinking, what on earth did I just get myself into?
Yes.
It's hard to say no to chicken and waffles.
Right? But before I did the whole gas station thing, I was actually doing the meal plans, the exclusively Airy.
Okay, so that's kind of where you started.
Yes. Well, I started with a very silly thing. You could go on the website and order one meal for lunch, and I would drive like a bat out of you-know-where.
Oh my
and bring you that one meal, which is okay. Except I'd get 6, 7, 8 orders, but they're all over the place.
Right,
And I thought,
and all for lunch at the exact same time.
this is insane.
Yeah, you can't bilocate, not yet.
Right. So then I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell people, if you want the food, you have to buy 7 meals at a time. It's going to be prepared and frozen, and you pick it up one time. And I thought, well, that's just going to be the end of my business, because nobody's going to buy into this. But they did.
Cha-ching.
And that was actually what started exclusively Airy. But when we moved into the gas station, because of logistics, there just was we were in a closet in the gas station.
Oh my gosh.
There just wasn't enough space, so we kind of let it go. Fast forward to earlier this year, Eli Rogers from the Pittsburgh Steelers actually reached out to us on Instagram, and he's like, look, I love your food. I want to come try your food. I'm thinking, oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
sure.
Thanks. I'm going home. So I give him my number. I'm going home one day and I get a text. Hey, Miss Jenn, it's Eli. I missed my flight to Fort Lauderdale, so I took a flight to Orlando. So I'm actually on my way to your restaurant right now. And I'm thinking, right now. I said, well, I'm not there, but my team is there, and they're fantastic, and they'll take care of you. He gets there, and the team tells me he has the most beautiful spirit. So then he reaches out to me afterwards. He's like, I love the food. I'm starting camp in July, which was last week. I'm starting camp in July, and I need your food, because he's vegan. I need your food. And I'm thinking, well, so that's a little dicey.
Okay.
Because I'm here in Eatonville.
Yes.
And you're going to be in Pittsburgh. He's like, well, can you ship it to me? And I thought, oh, shipping food is its own monster, right? But I thought, why not? Because I'm always like a jumper, right?
Yeah.
My answer is very seldom no. It's always yes and figure it out afterwards. So I said yes. And, I was like hoping, fingers and toes crossed and stars aligned, when it gets to Eli, it will get there in the number of pieces that we want it to be.
Exactly.
Right? And he gets it, and it's perfect. So then I went on Instagram, because I was sharing, one of the things that we do, we share the process with people, the journey, a lot. So even when he first reached out, everybody knew. And when he asked for the food, everybody knew.
Right.
So everybody knew when we were shipping it out.
But it's a community-based restaurant.
Yes.
That's just the way it is.
Yes. So we told them, I said, guys, the food made it. It's in perfect condition. And if you want it, we're going to test shipping it out to you. And I'm thinking, oh, we'll have, 6 or 7 people. We had 87 people order meals, 7 meals each. And I'm thinking, now I have a problem.
I said
problem
yes,
to
too
have.
fast. I said yes, too fast.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, and I've seen these meal prep boxes, and they're stuffed with so much styrofoam and these non-reusable ice packs that, I guess you can reuse them, but if you keep ordering them once a week, you have way too many ice packs.
Yes.
And that's all this plastic that's going right back out. So when you say reusable, sustainable, recyclable,
Yes.
you start thinking to yourself, wow, so you don't even you're not just thinking just the food, you're thinking the way it's all packaged.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
completely Airy.
Right, exactly.
I'm on it. I'm on board. I am on
And see,
board.
the thing about vegan, right? I explained to you what vegan meant to me, but there's so many different ways, Thomas, that you can get to the vegan table, right? You can get there because you love animals. You can get there because you love yourself, and you want to treat your body well, because vegan food, if done in a healthy way, is very good for your body. But you can also get there because you love the environment. It's been shown that raising animals is so taxing on the environment that if people were to cut back on the meat consumption or go vegan, that it will address a lot of the, you know, the climate change issues that we're having. And so going into that and representing veganism, I have to take it like as a whole, right? If this is something that's good for the environment, we need to do our part also to make sure that the things that are coming out of the restaurant are good for the environment and represent that as well. Yeah.
And being in Orlando and Eatonville, you were saying that Orlando top 3 for the best place to be vegan?
Yes. That's
amazing.
Yeah,
so tell us a little bit about that.
Totally amazing. So this, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember what publication it was, but it was a national publication, and at some point I might email you and let you know what it is.
Yes,
I totally forgot.
Yes.
And it ranked U.S. cities for their vegan friendliness, and Orlando was actually listed as number 3, and the criteria for that was not just the number of vegan restaurants, but the number of restaurants with vegan options. And so Orlando is exceptionally vegan friendly. There's so many fully vegan restaurants and so many restaurants that offer vegan options that, you know, there's no way you can miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying people who were vegan 10, 15 years ago had to struggle, where now, you know, it's not as easy as just picking up a burger, you know, from a fast food joint, but it's getting there.
But it is as easy as picking up a burger from a fast food joint.
Yes.
Did you know that Burger King in South Florida actually has the Impossible Whopper?
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah. So you can do a drive-through and get a vegan burger at Burger King. And Del Taco has, I think, the Impossible Tacos. Yeah. So many people are coming.
It's all about faking it, right?
Right.
I mean, of those, like the fake meats, the wheat meats, the soy meats, all those, like is there a specific one you use in your restaurant, or do you just go purely vegetable based? Or are you going like the jackfruits and the mushrooms and that sort of thing?
So no, we use, so those are the wheat meats. That's seitan, which is a gluten isolate in flour. We make our own seitan at the cafe.
Oh wow!
So we are pretty well known for our jerk chicken. It's amazing.
Do you have to put in quotation marks when you say chicken?
No, so we spell it CHICK''N.
Ooh, okay. I understand now. We have to market it right. Yes.
So we make our own seitan, and we don't use a lot of jackfruit, only on Sundays when we do the jerk barbecue jackfruit sandwich, because jackfruit has like the texture of like pulled pork.
I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, and it absorbs the young green jackfruit because it hasn't matured yet. It doesn't have a distinct flavor of its own, and the texture is very malleable, so it will take on a lot of sauces. So you can do so many different things with it. You can make the pulled pork. You can make the calamari. You can even make like chowder, like a clam chowder with it. It's amazing.
What's your favorite dish?
Okay, my favorite, and this is going to come.
You can't
as a
say all of
surprise.
them.
No, I'm not copying on. I promise. But my favorite dish, hands down, really is cornmeal porridge.
Cornmeal porridge.
Cornmeal, and I saw the look at it. What is that?
Okay, what is that?
So for me, it's nostalgia, right? Cornmeal porridge is something that my grandmother used to make for me a lot in Jamaica. How do I best describe it? It's like grits, but it's thinner.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm from. My family's from Cuba, so the islands all kind of had that cornmeal porridge kind of thing.
Coconut milk.
Yes.
And cinnamon and nutmeg and vanilla. And it's warm, and it's like a hug in a mug.
Hug in a mug.
Best thing ever.
Yes. And do you serve that?
For breakfast every day. Yeah.
Well, I might be swinging by eating tomorrow morning. Just saying.
I think you should. But yeah, for me, for the restaurant, a lot of what we make, it's honoring the flavors and taste that my family used to make for me. Like our crab cake journey I grew up in a fishing village in Jamaica. So we had crab and lobster for breakfast and snacks. And it wasn't until I came here to America I realized, oh, that stuff's expensive. You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And my grandfather used to make the best crab cakes, like the best crab cakes I've ever had. And when I became vegan, I was determined to get that. You know, like you crave something growing up.
Yeah.
I really wanted that.
That
And then-
comfort.
Exactly. And I use heart of palm. Heart of palm, you put that in your food processor, has the exact texture of crab lumps. You add your typical, your Old Bay seasoning,
Right.
your nori to give that fishy
Fishy.
taste. Yeah. But then I also add jerk paste to it to give it that kind of islandy flavor.
A little kick.
It's my grandfather's crab cake.
No.
I was so happy. Yeah, it's like, guys, look, I'm not even going to tell you what's in it, but it's my grandfather's crab cake, and you have to come down and get it.
You got to trust him.
Yes.
Yeah. That is fantastic. Is it called My Grandfather's Crab Cakes?
Oh, but that's a good one.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Might have a name change.
What was like the hardest dish to replicate in a
Ooh, that's a good
vegan
question.
fashion?
That one is easy.
Really?
The goat.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I could definitely see. I love goat. I
Yeah.
actually I went to college in Philadelphia, and there was a Jamaican restaurant there that served a great curried goat.
Yeah.
And so I can admit, because it's a very like earthy, distinct kind
Yeah,
of meat.
gamey. It has
Very
a
Yeah.
gaminess to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So it took me a while to get that, but we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Tuesdays from 4 to 7, we serve curry goat at the cafe. The team used to call it curry ghost because I took forever to work on it. They thought it would never make the menu. So
No way.
they're a little shady.
Yeah. I love it. And it seems like you love your team as well, which
I
is
do.
so great.
I really do have a great team.
So how
Yeah.
can people contact you? Where can they find you? You're saying that you're very much on social media.
Yes.
So give us just a kind of a roundabout of where we can contact you.
Yeah, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our handle is Dejan Eats. So it's DAJENEATS.
Dejan Eats.
And our website is dejaneats.com. We are located at 323 East Kennedy Boulevard, Suite F, in the historic town of Eatonville.
Yes.
Do you guys know the history of Eatonville?
No.
Do you have like 3 seconds?
Go for it.
Okay.
I love learning about it. Like, I mean, old Florida there's so much of old Florida
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
So please tell
Yeah.
us.
So Eatonville is the nation's oldest all-black incorporated municipality. It was formed in 1887 by former slaves. The idea was to have a town where they had their own government. And to this day, Eatonville still exists as its separate town from Orlando. Has its own government, has its own city council, and all of that. And so to be able to be in such a historic town and bring vegan options to what is very much an underserved community,
Right.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you read or heard of Their Eyes Were Watching God? By Zora Neale Hurston?
Oh, well, I've heard of
You know
her.
Zora.
Yeah, I know Zora.
She's the pride of Eatonville.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah,
The big
so-
festival.
Exactly. Every year in January, they have the Zora Festival. Next year in January, it'll be the 31st Zora Festival, and there'll be a vegan community. So I was tasked with creating a vegan village for Zora Festival.
Oh, fantastic.
'Cause Zora is going vegan next year.
Yes.
Cool.
So you guys should come out.
That sounds amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
and how has the welcoming been in Eatonville, starting something that's not, as traditional as other food?
Yeah. So the mayor of Eatonville used to come into the gas station and get her food. So he was already familiar, and he really championed us being there. So that he was one of the reasons we actually ended up in Eatonville when our lease was up in Rosemont. And one of our missions when we got there was to really become a part of the fabric of the Eatonville community. Because it's important because I'm very much an outsider. I'm not from Eatonville. When an outsider comes in, that they're also servicing the community and not just taking from.
Right.
I do understand that we have vegan food and Jamaican food, so it's a little different. So it took a while to get like Eatonville residents to come in. But we had a lot of community-focused things. We have a book club that we have at the cafe that we do once a month. It's called Dinner in a Store. It's fantastic. We do free cooking classes. We partner with the Eatonville Cultural Health Foundation.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And we do free cooking classes to Eatonville residents. So we're getting our name out into the neighborhood and people are coming in. But I think that one of the most heartwarming experiences I've had since being there was a lifelong Eatonville resident. I mean, born and raised, and she's well into her. I won't do that. She's well into her. She
was born and raised.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she came to the cafe and she said, I want to have my birthday party here. And I'm going to invite all of the people I went to high school with. And we're going to have it here at your cafe. And they did. And when they showed up, I just went outside and cried because I cried at the drop of a dime. I was like, oh, this is so beautiful.
It's coming full circle.
Right.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing for the community as well, and for the kids. And we just can't wait to hear more about you. And of course, probably be spotlighting you for the Zor Festival next year.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm swinging by, or I'm ordering one of those frozen meals because that's
Sunday.
right up my alley.
Sunday is our anniversary, our 1-year anniversary, and it's going to be insane. Insane. We're talking shrimp fries, fully loaded shrimp fries bowls, sausage, egg and cheese, grits bowls, mango, scotch bonnet, boneless spare ribs, and jerk mac and cheese bowls. The whole
Killing me.
scale. You have
Killing
to come
me.
on Sunday. It's insane.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Florida Foodie. We'd also like to thank our guest, Chef Jenn Ross from Jenn Eats. You can follow the restaurant on social media. Just search Jenn Eats on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our host is Candace Campos. Give her a follow on social media as well. You can find her on Twitter. Just search @CandaceNews6, and on Facebook, search Candace Campos News 6. We'd also like to thank our technical producers, Derek Mosier and Ryan Hawley. I'm the show's producer, Thomas Mates. Please take the time to rate and review us wherever you download your podcasts. You can find videos of all of our podcasts online at clickorlando.com/podcasts.